Praise Yahuwah. I just ran into an old friend who recently stopped smoking the marijuanas, the reefer, cannabis, and as I too have recently, and hopefully he'll be able to get his word out there, because he's got a good story. I'm not going to spoil it for you though. I was trying to get him to read the word with me. I literally clicked the camera on and I saw him walking by. I'm at this park that's like, I should come take a picture of it in the morning, but it's like it's literally like a giant circle, if you can see this, and it just goes all the way around, and there's something crawling in the woods back there, but I ain't worried. I ain't scared. And so I walked up and I looked over before I pressed the camera on, and I was like, Zach? He was like, oh, no way. I was like, he recognized me, which most people don't. Been a while. Let's pray. Oh, God. Father Yahuwah, you bring all unions because you are one, and it is the unity that brings us with you and us together. Father Yahuwah, we know that you are sovereign over all things, creator of all things, and the glory and the victory are yours. In Yeshua's name. Let me speak the words that you need me to speak. Let the people hear. Amen. In Yeshua's name. Amen. Also, there's a link in the description because we've been doing this for a while now. And so there's a link in the description if you want to donate to this cause of teaching people the word, because gotta eat. So yeah, I do not buy crack. I will not buy crack. I will buy more Bibles, however, because we give them out. Gave one out today. This last 20 that I purchased has lasted a while, but you know, whoever needs one, whenever. Actually, I sold one the other day, but I don't make money on them, so I would give them out, but it was a friend who was buying it for another friend, and so whatevs. Psalm 13. How long would you forget me, O Yahuwah? Forever? How long would you conceal your face from me? How long would I take counsel in my being, grief in my heart day by day? How long would my enemy be exalted over me? Look, answer me, O Yahuwah, my Elohim. Enlighten my eyes, lest I sleep in death, lest my enemy say, I have prevailed against him. Lest my adversaries rejoice when I am moved, but I have trusted in your loving commitment. My heart rejoices in your deliverance. I sing to Yahuwah because he has been good to me. Speaking of which, let us sing. Have you texted your family today? Oh, what kind of worship music do we want today? Worship instrumental. Worship instrumental. We might just do the Psalms on this video on account of bugs, but praise, give him praise in the highest. What is this? Oh yeah. These bugs are loving me right now. I do not like this music. Shut up, go away.
Let's have a shopping try-on haul. Temu's big deal is on. Shop this printed shirt.
If you're shopping at Temu, you're wrong. Ew. Can I get something with drums? That's why people hate worship music. Drums. There we go. Never mind. This literally is not even. Go away. Okay. Worship instrumental with drums. See the things I do for you guys? Drums instrumental, what a beautiful name. Let's see how this is. How long would you forget me, oh YHWH, forever? How long would you conceal your face from me? How long would take counsel in my being, grief in my heart day by day? How long would my enemy be exalted over me? Look, I answer me, oh YHWH, my Elohim. Enlighten my eyes, lest I sleep in death, lest my enemies say I have prevailed against him. Lest my adversaries rejoice when I am moved, but I have trusted in your loving commitment. My heart rejoices in your deliverance. I sing to YHWH because he's been good to me. The fool has said in his heart, there is no YHWH. They have done corruptly. They have done an abominable deed. There is no one who does good. YHWH, look down from the heavens on the Son of Mankind to see if there is a wise one seeking YHWH. They have all turned inside out. They have together become filthy. No one is doing good, not even one. Have all the workers of wickedness no knowledge? Wait up, my people, as they ate bread. Do not call on YHWH. There they are in great fear. For YHWH is with the generation of the righteous. You would put to shame the counsel of the poor. But YHWH is his refuge. Oh, that the deliverance of Israel would be given out of Zion. When YHWH turns back the captivity of his people, let Jacob rejoice. Let Yisrael be glad. Yahuwah, who does sojourn in your tent, who does dwell in your set-apart mountain. He who walks blamelessly and does righteousness and speaks the truth in his heart. He is not slandered with his tongue. He is not done evil to his neighbor, nor lifted up a reproach against his friend, in whose eyes a reprobate one is despised. But he esteems those who fear Yahuwah. He who swears to his own hurt and does not change. He has not put out his silver at interest and has not taken a bribe against the innocent. He who does these is never moved. Thank you, Yahuwah.
I don't think that Rusty would be here today if it wasn't for the farmer's dog. He was always a dry kibble dog because that was all we knew growing up, and so.
Did you guys enjoy my serenade? Have a good night. They didn't enjoy it. That's okay. Praise Yahuwah. Okay, Psalm 13. How long would you forget me, O Yahuwah, forever? How long would you conceal your face from me? How long would I take counsel in my being? Grief in my heart day by day. Yahuwah remembers his lovingly committed ones, which we know from Exodus 3:7. And Yahuwah said, I have indeed seen the oppression of my people who are in Mitzrayim, and have heard their cry because of their slave drivers, for I know their sorrows. And then also Revelation 8:4, the same God, consistent from beginning to end. And the smoke of the incense with the prayers of the set-apart ones went up before Elohim from the hand of the messenger. That's a calendar notification that we'll get rid of. Yahuwah does not forget his lovingly committed ones. How long would you conceal your face from me? How long would I take counsel in my being? Grief in my heart day by day. How long would my enemy be exalted over me? Look, answer me, O Yahuwah, my Elohim. Enlighten my eyes, which is a different disposition than Job says in 23 about answer me. And also different than in Job 23:6. Would he contend with me in great power? No, he would pay attention to me. So then Yahuwah, who has the authority to say answer me, says answer me in verse 38:3. Now gird up your loins like a man, and I ask you, and you answer me. And then he repeats himself in 40, because Job did not gird up his loins and answer him. Should a reprover contend with the Almighty, let him who reproves Eloah answer it. And Job answered Yahuwah and said, see, I am insignificant. What would I answer you? I lay my hand over my mouth. Once I have spoken, but I have no answer. And twice, but I say no more. Then Yahuwah answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, now I gird up your loins like a man. I ask you and you answer me. I ask you and you answer me. And so this is David saying, answer me, O Yahuwah, my Elohim, which he does not have the authority to do. Enlighten my eyes, lest I sleep in death, lest my enemies say I have prevailed against him. Lest my adversaries rejoice when I am moved, but I have trusted in your loving commitment. My heart rejoices in your deliverance. I sing to Yahweh because he has been good to me. And so I shall sing to Yahweh because he has been good to me. And you should too. So this is, grief in my heart day by day. This psalm has grieving in it, and then it has concern, and then plead. Lest my enemies say, I have prevailed against him. And being that this is David, and we know from 1 Samuel 17 when he slays Goliath, but David said, 1 Samuel 17:45, but David said to the Philistine, you come to me with a sword and with a spear and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of the armies of Israel, whom you have reproached. Okay. So, David is always praising Yahweh. He brings the ark back to where are we at? Oh, we do have 1 Chronicles 16. Yeah. And on that day, David first gave thanks to Yahweh by the hand of Asaph and his brothers. All right, well, let's take it from the top because this is what shows that it's a song. And they brought the ark. This is when he's taking the ark back and having a party, and he sings. And they brought the ark of Elohim and set it in the midst of the tent that David had pitched for it. And they brought ascending offerings and peace offerings before Elohim. And when David had made an end of offering the ascending offerings and the peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of Yahweh, and gave a portion to everyone of Israel, both man and woman, to everyone a loaf of bread, a measure and a cake of raisins. And he appointed some of the Levites to serve before the ark of Yahweh, to bring to remembrance, and to thank and to praise Yahweh Elohim of Israel. Asaph the chief, and his second, Zechariah, Yehiel, and Shemiramoth, and Yehiel, and Matthiah, and Eliab, and Benayahu, and Obed-Edom, and Yehiel, with harps and lyres, but Asaph was sounding with cymbals. And Benaiah and Ahaziel, the priest, continually blow the trumpets before the ark of the covenant of Elohim. And on that day, David first gave thanks to Yahweh by the hand of Asaph and his brothers. By the hand of Asaph and his brothers. So they're all playing the music, and this is David's band. Is Asaph, Zechariah, Yehiel, Shemiramoth, another Yeiel and Yehiel, and Matthiah and Eliab, Benayahu and Obed-Edom. They're the band. And so you can read 1 Chronicles 16. I don't necessarily think we need to, but let's do a little bit of it. Give thanks to Yahweh. Call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the peoples. And I'm not going to sing this one because it's just more singing, which we don't have another beat for. Sing to him. Sing praise to him. Speak of all his wonders. Boast in his set-apart name. Let the hearts of those seeking Yahweh rejoice. Seek Yahweh and his strength. Seek his face continually. Remember his wonders which he has done, his signs and the right rulings of his mouth. O seed of Israel, his servant. O children of Jacob, his chosen ones. He is Yahweh our Elohim. His right rulings are in all the earth. remember his covenant forever, the word he commanded for 1,000 generations, which he made with Abraham, and his oath to Yitzchak, and he established it to Jacob for a law, to Yisrael as an everlasting covenant, saying to you, I give the land of Canaan, the portion of your inheritance, when you were but few in numbers, few indeed, and sojourners in it. And they went up and down from one nation to another, and from one reign to another people. He allowed no one to oppress them, and he reproved sovereigns for their sakes, saying, do not touch my anointed ones, and do my prophets no evil. Sing to Yahuwah all the earth. Proclaim his deliverance from day to day. Declare his esteem among the nations, his wonders among the peoples, among all peoples. For Yahuwah is great, and great is Yahuwah, and greatly to be praised. And he is to be feared above all mighty ones. For all the mighty ones of the peoples are matters of naught, but Yahuwah made the heavens. Excellency and splendor are before him. Strength and gladness are in his place. Ascribe to Yahuwah, O clans of the peoples. Ascribe to Yahuwah esteem and strength. Ascribe to Yahuwah the esteem of his name. Bring an offering and come before him. Bow yourself to Yahuwah in the splendor of set apartness. Tremble before him, all the earth. The world also is firmly established, immovable. Let the heavens rejoice, and let the earth be glad. And let them say among the nations, Yahuwah shall reign. Let the sea soar, and all that fills it. Let the field rejoice, and all that is in it. Let the trees of the forest then sing before Yahuwah. For he shall come to judge the earth. Give thanks to Yahuwah, for he is good, for his loving commitment is everlasting. And say, save us, O our Elohim of deliverance, and gather us together, and deliver us from the nations, to give thanks to your set-apart name, and boast in your praise. Blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Yisrael, from everlasting to everlasting. And all the people said, Amen, and praised Yahuwah. So he left Asaph and his brothers there before the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah to perform regular services before the ark as each day required. Okay, and then we get into some other positions. Also, Obed-Edom with his 68 brothers, including Obed-Edom, son of Yeduthun, and Hosah to be gatekeepers, and Sadok the priest and his brothers the priests, before the dwelling place of Yahuwah at the high place that was at Gibeon, to offer ascending offerings to Yahuwah on the slaughter place of the ascending offerings regularly morning and evening, and to do according to all that is written in the Torah of Yahuwah which he commanded Yisrael. And with them Haman and Yeduthun and the rest who were chosen, who were designated by name, to give thanks to Yahuwah, because his loving commitment is everlasting. And with them Haman and Yeduthun to sound aloud with trumpets and cymbals and instruments for the songs of Elohim, and the sons of Yeduthun for the gate. And all the people went, each one to his house, and Dawid returned to bless him. Okay, so Psalm 14. The fool has said in his heart, there is no Yahuwah. We read that in another psalm. 10:4. In the pride of his face, the wrongdoer does not seek him. In all his thoughts, there is no Elohim. They have done corruptly. They have done an abominable deed. There is no one who does good. What are things that are abominable to Yahuwah? What kinds of things are abominable? If we go to Leviticus 11, things like all that have not, Leviticus 11:10, all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, all that move in the waters, or any living being which is in the waters, they are an abomination to you. They are an abomination to you. Of their flesh you do not eat, and their carcasses you abominate. All that have fins and scales in the waters have not fins and scales in the waters are an abomination to you. And these you do abominate among the birds. They are not eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle and the vulture and the black vulture and the hawk and the falcon after its kind. Every raven after its kind, and the ostrich and the nighthawk and the seagull and the hawk after its kind, and the little owl and the fisher owl and the great owl and the white owl and the pelican and the carrion vulture and the stork, the heron after its kind, and the hoopoe and the bat. All flying insects that creep on all fours is an abomination to you. So don't go eating the crickets when Bill Gates puts them into your salad. Those are abominations. But as far as abominable deeds, we love to look at Proverbs 6:16. These 6 matters Yahuwah hates, and 7 are an abomination to him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands shedding innocent blood, a heart devising wicked schemes, feet quick to run to evil, a false witness breathing out lies, and one who causes strife among brothers. My son, watch over your father's command, and do not forsake the Torah of your mother. I don't know that it says it in here, but let's see. No, I don't think it uses that word. There is one other. I don't think that it is. Leviticus 20:25, and you shall make a distinction between clean and unclean beast, and between unclean birds and clean, and do not make yourselves abominable by beast or by bird or whatever creeps on the ground, which I have separated you from is unclean. Leviticus 18:22. This will be popular. And do not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. Well, there's that. Go down to 26, but let's not go down to 26. Let's just keep reading. Man, Leviticus 18 is a bomber. Let's go to Leviticus 18:19. And do not approach a woman to uncover her nakedness in her monthly separation of uncleanness. And do not have intercourse with the wife of your neighbor, to defile yourself with her. And do not give any of your offspring to pass through to Molech. And do not profane the name of your Elohim. I am Yahuwah. And do not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. And do not have intercourse with any beast, to defile yourself with it. And a woman does not stand before a beast to mate with it. It is a perversion. Do not defile yourselves with all these, for by all these the nations are defiled, which I am driving out before you. Thus the land became defiled. Therefore I punished it for its crookedness, and the land vomited out its inhabitants. But you shall guard my laws and my right rulings, and not do any of these abominations, the native nor the sojourner who sojourns among you, because the men of the land who were before you have done all these abominations, and thus the land became defiled. So let not the land vomit you out for defiling it, as it vomited out the nations that were before you. For whoever does any of these abominations, those beings who do them shall be cut off from among their people. And you shall guard my charge so as not to do any of these abominable laws which were done before you, so as not to defile yourselves by them. I am Yahuwah your Elohim. Leviticus 18 is the sexual immorality chapter, which we'll do when we get there. But they have done an abominable deed, similar to saying there is no Yahuwah. There is no one who does good. Yahuwah looked down from the heavens on the sons of mankind to see if there is a wise one seeking Yahuwah. They have all turned aside. They have together become filthy. No one is doing good, not even one. Have all the workers of wickedness no knowledge? I've got two references here. Matthew 7. Psalm 6:8. Depart from me, all you workers of wickedness, for Yahweh has heard the voice of my weeping. And if we start at 21, Matthew 7:23. And then I shall declare to you, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. Quoting that psalm with lawlessness and wickedness. There is another chapter in Matthew. Where no, it's not that one. It is this one. Matthew 15:7. Hypocrites, Yeshayahu rightly prophesied about you, saying, this people draws near to me with their mouth and respect me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching the commands of men. So similar, not exactly perfect, but I thought it was worded a little differently. Let's keep going. And then where I was Matthew 23, where he says, woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. It's a lack of righteousness. It's a lack of desire to do righteousness. All the workers of wickedness, have all the workers of wickedness no knowledge? Like, are they all ignorant, or are some of them doing it intentionally? Who eat up my people as they eat bread and do not call on Yahuwah? Call on Yahuwah. Call upon Elohim. What? Who eat up my people as they eat bread. We're going to go to Ezekiel 4. And you, son of man, take a clay tablet, and you shall lay it before you, and shall inscribe on it a city, Yerushalayim, and shall lay siege against it, and build a siege wall against it, and heap up a mound against it, and set camps against it, and place battering rams against it all around. Then take an iron plate, and set it as an iron wall between you and the city, and you shall set your face against it, and it shall be sieged, and you shall lay siege against it. It is a sign to the house of Yisrael, and lie on your left side, and you shall put the crookedness of the house of Yisrael on it, as many days as you lie on it. You shall bear their crookedness. For I myself have laid on you the years of their crookedness, according to the number of the days, 390 days, and you shall bear the crookedness of the house of Yisrael. And when you have completed them, you shall lie again on your right side, and shall bear the crookedness of the house of Yehuda 40 days, a day for a year. I have laid on you a day for a year. Then you shall set your face toward the siege of Jerusalem with your arm bared, and you shall prophesy against it. And see, I shall put cords on you, so that you do not turn from one side to another until you have completed the days of your siege. And take wheat, and barley, and beans, and lentils, and millet, and spelt, and you shall put them in one vessel, and make bread of them. You shall eat it, and as many days as you lie on your side, 390 days. And your food which you eat is by weight, 20 shekels a day, to be eaten from time to time. And drink water by measure, 1/6 of a hin, to be drunk from time to time. And eat it as a barley cake, and bake it before their eyes on human dung. And Yahuwah said, even so the children of Israel shall eat their defiled bread among the nations to whom I drive them. Then I said, Master Yahuwah, see, I have never defiled myself from my youth till now. I have never eaten what died of itself or was torn by beasts, nor has unclean meat ever come into my mouth. And he said to me, see, I am giving you the dung of cattle instead of human dung, and you shall prepare your bread over it. And he said to me, Son of man, see, I am going to cut off the supply of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight and with fear, and drink water by measure and with dread, so that they lack bread and water, and shall be appalled with one another, and be consumed in their crookedness. Okay. So, who eat up my people as they eat bread. Apparently there's a lot of bread going around in this time. And that means that the workers of wickedness are consuming people, and they're not sparse. It's not a sparse ability to take advantage of people. But yeah, famine. End times come. End times are coming. There they are in great fear, for Yahuwah is with the generation of the righteous. You would put to shame the counsel of the poor. Yahuwah is with the generation of the righteous. If we go to Ezekiel 18, we will know that started 18, his father, because he used oppression, robbed his brother, and did what is not good among his people, see, he shall die for his crookedness. And you said, why should the son not bear the crookedness of the father? But the son has done right ruling and righteousness. He has guarded all my laws, and he does them. He shall certainly live. The being who sins shall die. The son shall not bear the crookedness of the father, nor the father bear the crookedness of the son. The righteousness of the righteous is upon himself, and the wrongness of the wrong is upon himself. But the wrong, if he turns from all his sins which he has done, and he shall guard all my laws, and shall do right ruling and righteousness, he shall certainly live, he shall not die. All the transgressions which he has done shall not be remembered against him. In his righteousness that he has done, he shall live. Have I any pleasure in the death of the wrong, declares the Master Yahuwah? Is it not that he should turn from his ways and live? But when a righteous one turns away from his righteousness and does unrighteousness according to all the abominations that the wrong one has done, shall he live? All his righteousness which he has done shall not be remembered, for his trespass which he has committed, and for his sin which he has committed, for them he shall die. And you said, the way of Yahuwah is not right. Hear now, O house of Israel, is my way not right? Is it not your ways that are not right? When a righteous one turns from his righteousness and does unrighteousness, and he dies in it, it is because of his unrighteousness which he has done that he dies. And when the wrong one turns away from the wrong which he has done, and he does right ruling and righteousness, he keeps himself alive. But he sees and turns away from all the transgressions which he has done, he shall certainly live, he shall not die. Okay. Because there's another psalm that we're going into. There's another example. Obviously, we went through the abomination. Okay. For Yahuwah is with the generation of the righteous. If we go to 10:6, he said in his heart, I shall not be moved from generation to generation, never be an evil. That is if you remember, a wrong man, a prideful man, a wrongdoer, saying that sarcastically. He snorts at all his adversaries. Your right rulings are on high out of his sight. He snorts at all his adversaries. Okay, let's go up to 5. His ways are always preposterous. Your right rulings are on high out of his sight. He snorts at all his adversaries. He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved. From generation to generation, never be an evil. For Yahuwah is with the generation of the righteous. You would put to shame the counsel of the poor. And that same Ezekiel 18, one of the trespasses of the father, but see if he has brought forth a son. Oh no, this doesn't. Oh yeah. But if he has brought forth a son who is a robber or shedder of blood, go up to verse 10, Ezekiel 18:10. Who does any of these, whereas he himself did not do any of these, that also he has eaten on the mountains or defiled his neighbor's wife, if he has oppressed the poor and needy, has committed robbery, he does not return a pledge, has lifted up his eyes to the idols, or did abomination. If he has lent on interest or taken increase, shall he live? He shall not live. If he has done any of these abominations, he shall certainly die. His blood is upon him. Abominations. But you would put to shame the counsel of the poor, but you would put to shame the counsel of the poor, but Yahuwah is his refuge. Yahuwah is his refuge. Proverbs 7:1. O Yahuwah my Elohim, in you I have taken refuge. Proverb 9:9. Wav, and Yahuwah is a refuge for the crushed one. Oh, that the deliverance of Yisrael would be given out of Zion, when Yahuwah turns back the captivity of his people. Let Jacob rejoice, let Yisrael be glad. Oh, we know how many times shall they be put in captivity? Like all through the prophets. Jeremiah is a really good one about the captivity. Isaiah starts it, but let's see if there's one in Jeremiah, because there's a chapter in Jeremiah that I don't know where it is, but it is hot on captivity. The word that Jeremiah 11:10. They have turned back to the crookednesses of their forefathers who refused to hear my words. And they have gone after other mighty ones to serve them. The house of Israel and the house of Yehuda have broken my covenant I made with their fathers. Therefore, thus said Yahuwah, see, I am bringing evil on them which they are unable to escape. Then they shall cry out to me, but I shall not listen to them. And the cities of Yehuda and the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall go and cry out to the mighty ones to whom they burn incense. But they shall bring no deliverance to them at all in the time of their evil. For your mighty ones have become as many as your cities, O Yehuda, and you have set up as many slaughter places to shame as there are streets in Jerusalem, slaughter places to burn incense to Baal. And you do not pray for this people, or lift up a cry or a prayer for them. For I do not hear them in the time that they cry out to me because of their evil, as opposed to the prayers of the righteous ones. Why should my beloved be in my house? She has done wickedness with many. And does the set-apart flesh remove your evil from you? Then you rejoice? Yahuwah has named you green olive tree, beautiful of goodly fruit. With the noise of a great sound he has set it on fire, and its branches shall be broken. And Yahuwah of hosts, who planted you, has spoken evil against you for the evil of the house of Israel and of the house of Yehuda, which they have done against themselves to provoke me, by burning incense to Baal. And Yahuwah made it known to me, and I know it. Then you showed me their deeds, but I was like a gentle lamb, brought them to the slaughter. And I did not know that they had plotted against me, saying, let us destroy the tree with its fruit, and let us cut him off from the land of the living, and let his name be remembered no more. But O Yahuwah of hosts, who judges righteously, who tries kidneys and heart, let me see your vengeance upon them, for unto you I have revealed my cause. Therefore, thus said Yahuwah concerning the men of Anathoth, who are seeking your life, saying, do not prophesy in the name of Yahuwah, lest you die by our hand. Therefore, thus said Yahuwah of hosts, see, I am punishing them. The young men shall die by the sword, their sons and their daughters shall die by scarcity of food, and there shall be no remnant of them, for I bring evil on the men of Anoth the year of their punishment. So, why should my beloved be in my house? She has done wickedness with many. And then let's go to 2 Chronicles 6. Actually, we could Deuteronomy 28 this as well. Deuteronomy 28:41, you bring forth sons and daughters, but they are not with you, for they go into captivity. This is a curse, should you not listen to Yahuwah. And then Solomon prays in 2 Chronicles 6, when he's setting up the temple, when they sin against you, for there is no one who does not sin, and you become enraged with them, and give them to the enemy, and they take them captive to a land far or near. And they shall turn back unto their heart in the land where they have been taken captive, and shall turn and make supplication to you in the land of their captivity, saying, we have sinned, we have acted crookedly, and have done wrong. And when they return to you with all their heart and with all their being in the land of their captivity, where they have been taken captive, and they shall pray toward their land, which you gave to their fathers, and the cities which you have chosen, and toward the house which I have built for your name, then shall you hear from the heavens, your dwelling place, their prayer and their supplications, and maintain their cause, and forgive your people who have sinned against you. Now, my Elohim, I pray, let your eyes be open, and let your ears be attentive to the prayer of this place. And now arise, O Yahuwah Elohim, to your resting place, you in the ark of your strength. Let your priests, O Elohim, O Yahuwah Elohim, be robed with deliverance, and let your lovingly committed ones rejoice in goodness. O Yahuwah Elohim, do not turn away the face of your anointed. Remember the loving commitment of your servant Dawid. We might invest in a citronella candle for the rest of these late night, for the rest of these outside Bible studies. Or, I got my mom a citronella plant from a flower sale outside of a church. Shout out Oakwood Bible Church. When Yahuwah turns back the captivity of his people, let Jacob rejoice. Let Yisrael be glad. We can also reference, Jeremiah 30, verse 6. Ask now and see if a man is giving birth. Why do I see every man with his hands on his loins like a woman in labor, and all faces turn pale? Oh, for great is that day. There is none like it, and it is the time of Jacob's distress, but he shall be saved out of it. And it shall be in that day, declares Yahuwah of hosts, that I break his yoke from your neck and tear off your bonds, and strangers no more enslave them. And they shall serve Yahuwah their Elohim, and Dawid their sovereign, whom I raise up for them. And you do not fear, O Jacob, my servant, declares Yahuwah, nor be discouraged, O Yisrael, for look, I am saving you from afar, and your seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and have rest, and be at ease, with no one to trouble him. For I am with you, declares Yahuwah, to save you. Though I make a complete end of all nations where I have scattered you, yet I do not make a complete end of you. But I shall reprove you in judgment, and by no means leave you on punishment. For thus said Yahuwah, your breach is incurable, your wound is grievous. No one pleads your cause to bind up. There are no healing medicines for you. All those loving you have forgotten you. They do not seek you. For I struck you as an enemy strikes with cruel chastisement, because your crookedness is great, your sins have increased. Why do you cry about your breach? Your pain is incurable because of your many crookednesses, because your sins have increased. I have done all this to you. However, all those who devour you shall be devoured, and all your adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And those who exploit you shall be exploited, and all who prey upon you I shall make a prey. For I restore health to you and heal you of your wounds, declares Yahuwah. For they have called you an outcast, saying, this is Zion, no one is seeking her. Thus said Yahuwah, see, I turn back the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have compassion on his dwelling places. And the city shall be built upon its own mound, and the palace stand on its right place. And out of them shall arise thanksgiving, and the voice of those who are laughing. And I shall increase them, and they shall not diminish. And I shall esteem them, and they shall not be small. And his children shall be done as before, and his congregations shall be established before me. And I shall punish all who oppress them. And his prince shall be from him, and his ruler shall come from among him. And I shall bring him near, and he shall approach me. For who is this who pledged his heart to approach me, declares Yahuwah? And you shall be my people, and I shall be your Elohim. See, the storm of Yahuwah shall go forth in a rage, a whirling storm. It bursts upon the head of the wrong. The burning displeasure of Yahuwah shall not turn back until he has done and established the purposes of his heart. In the latter days you shall understand it. We about there. We getting there. We getting there. Psalm 15. Yahuwah, who does sojourn in your tent? Who does dwell in your set-apart mountain? He who walks blamelessly and does righteousness, and speaks the truth in his heart. He has not slandered with his tongue. He has not done evil to his neighbor, nor lifted up a reproach against his friend. In whose eyes a reprobate is despised, but he esteems those who fear Yahuwah. He who swears to his own hurt and does not change, he has not put out his silver at interest and does not take a bribe against the innocent. He who does these is never moved. Okay. Yahuwah, who does sojourn in your tent, the tent of appointment? My house. I mean, it's all about, where do we read that? Jeremiah 11. This is a bang up of the last two Psalms. Praise Yahuwah. 11:15. Why should my beloved be in my house? And she has done wickedness with many, and does the set-apart flesh remove your evil from you? Then you rejoice. If we go to 1 Chronicles 17. We see and it came to be when David was dwelling in his house that David said to Nathan the prophet, see, I am dwelling in a house of cedar, but the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah is under curtains. And Nathan said to David, do all that is in your heart, for Elohim is with you. And it came to be that night that the word of Elohim came to Nathan, saying, go, and you shall say to my servant David, thus said Yahuwah, you do not build me a house to dwell in, for I have not dwelt in a house since the time that I brought up Yisrael even to this day, but have gone from tent to tent, and from one dwelling place to another. Wherever I have moved about with all Yisrael, have I ever spoken a word to any ruler of Yisrael, any of the rulers of Yisrael, whom I commanded to shepherd my people, saying, why have you not built me a house of cedar? And now say this to my servant David, thus said Yahuwah of hosts, I took you from my sheepfold, from following sheep, to be ruler over my people Yisrael. And I have been with you wherever you have gone, and have cut off all your enemies from before you, and have made you a name like the names of the great men who are on the earth. And I shall prepare a place for my people Yisrael, and plant them, and they shall dwell in a place of their own, and move no more. Nor shall the sons of wickedness oppress them any more as at the first. Since the time that I commanded rulers to be over my people Yisrael, and I have humbled all your enemies, and I declared to you that Yahuwah does build you a house, and it shall be, when your days are filled to go be with your fathers, that I shall raise up your seed after you, who is of your sons, and I shall establish his reign. He does build me a house, and I shall establish his throne forever. I am to be his father, and he is to be my son. And my loving commitment I do not turn away from him, as I took it from him who was before you. And I shall establish him in my house and in my reign forever, and let his throne be established forever. According to all these words and according to all this vision, so did Nathan speak to Dawid. Okay. And then Dawid starts arguing with Yahuwah about, who am I, O Yahuwah, my Elohim, and what is my house, that you have brought me this far? And this was a small matter in your eyes, O Elohim. You have spoken of your servant's house for a great while to come, and have looked upon me as though I were an exalted man, O Yahuwah, my Elohim. What more could Dawid add to you for the esteem of your servant? For you know your servant. O Yahuwah, for your servant's sake and according to your own heart, you have done all this greatness in making known all these matters. O Yahuwah, there is none like you, nor is there any Elohim beside you, according to all that we have heard with our ears. And who is like your people Yisrael, the one nation on the earth whom Elohim went to redeem for himself as a people, to make for yourself a great and awesome name by driving out nations from before your people, whom you redeemed from... And David's not arguing here. And 16, and sovereign Dawid came in and sat before Yahuwah and said all this. To make for yourself a great and awesome name by driving out nations from before your people, who you redeemed from Mitzrayim. For you appointed your people Yisrael to be your own people forever, and you, O Yahuwah, have become their Elohim. And now, O Yahuwah, the word which you have spoken concerning your servant and concerning his house, let it stand fast forever, and do as you have said. Let it stand fast, and your name be great forever, saying, Yahuwah of hosts, Elohim of Yisrael, is Elohim to Yisrael, and let the house of your servant Dawid be established before you. For you, O my Elohim, have revealed to your servant to build a house for him. Therefore, your servant has found courage to pray before you. And now, Yahuwah, you are Elohim and have promises goodness to your servant. And now you have been pleased to bless the house of your servant, to be pleased to be before you forever. For you have blessed it, O Yahuwah, and it is blessed forever. Okay. Who does sojourn in your tent? Well, if we go to Leviticus 10, it's definitely not drunk people. And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, each took his fire holder and put fire in it and put incense on it and brought a strange fire before Yahuwah, which he had not commanded them. And fire came out from Yahuwah and consumed them, and they died before Yahuwah. Then Moshe said to Aaron, this is what Yahuwah spoke, saying, by those who come near me let me be set apart, and before all the people let me be esteemed. And Aaron was silent. And Moshe called to Mishael and to Elzaphan, the sons of Uzziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said to them, come near, take your brothers from before the set-apart place out of the camp. So they came near and took them by their long shirts out of the camp, as Moshe had said. And Moshe said to Aaron and to Eleazar and to Ithamar his sons, do not unbind your heads nor tear your garments, lest you die. And wrath come upon all the people. But let your brothers, all the house of Yisrael, bewail the burning which Yahuwah has kindled. And do not go out from the door of the tent of appointment, lest you die, for the anointing oil of Yahuwah is upon you. And they did according to the word of Moshe. And Yahuwah spoke to Aaron, saying, do not drink wine or strong drink, you nor your sons with you, when you go into the tent of appointment, lest you die. A law forever throughout your generations, so as to make a distinction between the set apart and the profane, and between the unclean and the clean, and to teach the children of Israel all the laws which Yahuwah has spoken to them by the hand of Moshe. Who does dwell in your set apart mountain? I'm sure that there's verses for that I don't know. But I'm going to learn them. Lots of mountain references somewhere. Maybe it's just because I don't. Yahuwah? Anywhere that you'd like me to look? Make Zion your set apart mountain. lot in the Psalms. Joel 3:17. And Ezekiel 20. And then a lot more Psalms. Joel is a short book. Joel 3:16, and Yahweh shall roar from Sion, and give forth his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall speak, but Yahweh shall be a refuge, as in Psalm 14:6, a refuge for his people, and a stronghold for the children of Israel. Then you shall know that I am Yahweh, your Elohim, dwelling in Sion, my set-apart mountain, and Jerusalem shall be set apart, and strangers shall not pass. And it shall be that in that day that the mountain drip with new wine, and the hills flow with milk, and all the streams of Yehudah shall be flooded with water, and a fountain flow from the house of Yahweh, and water the Wadi Shittim. Mitzrayim shall become a ruin, and Edom a ruin, a wilderness, because of violence done to the people of Yehudah, whose innocent blood they shed in their land. But Yehudah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem to all generations. And I shall avenge their blood which I have not avenged, and Yahweh shall be dwelling in Zion. This has a note about Isaiah 24:23, so we'll go there. Start in 21. And in that day it shall be that Yahweh punishes on high the host of the... Let's restart that, because I was like, this is... I always get Isaiah and Ezekiel mixed up, the way it's written in Hebrew. Ezekiel 24:21. Sorry, Yahweh. And in that day it shall be that Yahweh punishes on high the host of exalted ones, and on the earth the sovereigns of the earth, and on the earth the sovereigns of the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prisons, and be punished after many days. And the moon shall be blushed, and the sun shall be ashamed. For Yahweh of hosts shall reign on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his elders in esteem. Which, this has literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 other references to Mount Zion and Jerusalem, which we're not going to hit all of, but we will go to this one because we've talked a little bit about this. Revelation 21. And I saw a renewed heaven and a renewed earth, for the former heaven and the former earth had passed away, and the sea is no more. And I, Yohanan, saw the set-apart city, renewed Jerusalem, coming down out of the heaven from Elohim, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the heavens, saying, See, the dwelling place of Elohim is with men, and he shall dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And Elohim himself shall be with them, and be their Elohim. And Elohim shall wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, nor mourning, nor crying, and there shall be no more pain, for the former matters have passed away. And he who is sitting on the throne said, See, I make all matters new. And he said to me, Write, for these words are true and trustworthy. And he said to me, It is done. I am the Aleph and the Tab, the beginning and the end. To the one who thirsts I shall give the fountain of the water of life without payment. The one who overcomes shall inherit all this, and I shall be his Elohim, and he shall be my son. But as for the cowardly and untrustworthy and abominable, and murderers, and those who whore, and drug sorcerers, and idolaters and all the false. Their part is in the lake of fire. Their part is in the lake which burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. And one of the 7 messengers who held the 7 bowls filled with the 7 last plagues came to me and spoke with me, saying, Come, I shall show you the bride, the Lamb's wife. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me the great city, the set apart Jerusalem, descending out of the heaven from Elohim, having the esteem of Elohim, and her light was like the most precious stone, like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. And having a great and high wall, having 12 gates, at the gates 12 messengers, and names written on them, which are those of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. 3 gates on the east, 3 gates on the north, 3 gates on the south, and 3 gates on the west. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them they were the names of the 12 emissaries of the Lamb. And he who spoke with me had a golden measuring rod to measure the city and its gates and its walls. And the city lies 4-cornered, and its length is as great as its breadth. And he measured the city with the rod 12,000 stadia, the length and the breadth and the height of it all equal. And he measured its wall 144 forearms, according to the measure of a man, that is of a messenger. And the structure of the wall was jasper, and the city was clean gold, like clear glass, according to the measure of a man, that is of a messenger. That is of a messenger. And the structure of its wall was jasper, and the city was like clean gold. And he measured its wall, 144 forearms, according to the measure of a man, that is of a messenger. So the measure of a man of a messenger, like a forearm of a man, but of a messenger. And the structure of its wall was jasper, and the city was clean gold, like clear glass. And the foundations of the wall of the city were adorned with all kinds of precious stones. The first foundation, jasper, the second sapphire, the third agate, the fourth emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth ruby, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprase, the 11th jacinth, and the 12th amethyst. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Each one of the gates was a single pearl. And the street of the city was clean gold, like transparent glass. And I saw no dwelling place in it, for YHWH El Shaddai is its dwelling place, and the Lamb. And the city had no need for sun nor of the moon to shine in it, for the esteem of Elohim lightened it, and the Lamb is its light. And the nations of those who are saved shall walk in its light, and the sovereigns of the earth bring their esteem into it. And its gates shall not be shut at all by day, for night shall not be there. And they shall bring the esteem and the appreciation of the nations into it. And there shall be by no means enter into it whatever is unclean, neither anyone doing abomination or falsehood, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. Because Yah knows what's up. That's why. Because Yah knows what's up. Okay. Oh, Ezekiel 20:40. Did not go to yet. Ezekiel 20. (31) For when you lift up your gifts and make your sons pass through the fire, you defile yourselves with all your idols, even to this day. And shall I be inquired of by you, O house of Israel? As I live, declares the Master YHWH, I am not being inquired of by you, and what comes up in your spirit shall never be. And when you say, let us be like the nations, like the tribes in other lands, serving wood and stone, as I live, declares the Master YHWH, do not I with a mighty hand, with an outstretched arm, and with wrath poured out reign over you? And I shall bring you out from the peoples, and gather you out of the lands where you are scattered, with a mighty hand, and with an outstretched arm, and with wrath poured out. And I shall bring you into the wilderness of the peoples, and shall enter into judgment with you face to face there. As I entered into judgment with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Mitzrayim, so I shall enter into judgment with you, declares the Master YHWH. and I shall make you pass under the rod, and shall bring you into the bond of the covenant, and purge the rebels from among you, and those who transgress against me from the land where they sojourn I bring them out. But they shall not come into the land of Israel, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. As for you, O house of Israel, thus said the Master Yahweh, go serve each of you his idols, and afterwards, if you are not listening to me, and go serve each of you his idols, and afterwards, if you are not listening to me. But do not profane my set-apart name anymore with your gifts and your idols. For on my set-apart mountain, on the mountain height of Yisrael, declares the Master Yahweh, there all the house of Yisrael, all of them in the land, shall serve me. There I shall accept them, and there I shall require your offerings and the first fruits of your offerings, together with all your set-apart gifts. As a sweet fragrance, I shall accept you when I bring you out from the peoples. And I shall gather you out of the lands where you have been scattered, and I shall be set apart in you before the nations. And you shall know that I am Yahweh when I bring you into the land of Israel, into the land for which I lifted my hand in an oath to give to your fathers. Psalm 15:2. He who walks blamelessly and does righteousness and speaks the truth in his heart, he has not slandered with his tongue. He has not done evil to his neighbor, nor lifted up a reproach against his friend, in whose eyes a reprobate one is despised, but he esteems those who fear Yahweh. He who swears to his own hurt and does not change, he has not put... Okay, let's go back up to 2. He who walks blamelessly and does righteousness and speaks the truth in his heart, he is not slandered with his tongue. He has not done evil to his neighbor, nor lifted up a reproach against his friend, in whose eyes a reprobate one is despised, but he esteems those who fear Yahweh. He who swears to his own hurt and does not change, he has not put out silver at interest, and has not taken a bribe against the innocent. He who does these is never moved. Okay? He who does these is never moved. Abominable deeds, as we saw in Ezekiel 18. Coming to the end of the world. He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, from generation to generation, never be an evil.